Hi, I'm Osman, and today I would like to talk about the dynamic data attachment. The dynamic data attachments lets you connect and share data between different projects or forms directly within the platform. Different than the pool data, these dynamic data attachments lets you retrieve data from already submitted information in a parent KoboToolBox project rather than a CSV file. So let's see how the structure works with the dynamic data attachment. For the dynamic data attachment, you will require two different forms. One will be the parent form, the other one will be the child form. We can bring information from parent form to child form. So we can do this by using a unique ID question that will keep the unique value, and when the code matches between the parent form and the child form, it will bring the information we requested. Also, in the child form, we will have an XML external connection. It's a type of question like the XML external, and we will use this type of questions to connect the other form or indicate which form is going to look for these values. With the dynamic data attachment, you can perform various calculations such as counting, sum, maximum, or minimum. If you would like to know how many submissions made till that form, you can use count. If you would like to know what is the maximum number or the highest number among the submissions, you can use maximum, or you can use minimum to find the minimum value. The formula is really simple for these various calculations. The instance here, our main formula we are going to use. The survey here is the connection name among the form. You can use any name, but it needs to be created that way in your form. I will explain that. I'll explain it later. Then we would like to count the total number of enumerator submissions in the form. We are not applying any filter. We are just counting all the submissions under the enumerator question. So we just use count formula here and open bracket. Then we use our formula, then close it. Only change here will be done under survey if you use different name for your connection, or if you would like to use any other question. In my form, I'm using P for parent forms, and the enumerator is the question. So and I named this way in my form. I will show it to you within my form like this. Here you see my questions are here: beneficiary code, parent form, PH, P gender. So this indicates these questions come from the parent form, and for the child form I'm using the C code, C name, so it is easier for me to differentiate the questions. If you would like to apply some filtering, not if you don't want to count all the values but specific enumerators values, so what you can do is just between the curly brackets we used here, we are just adding a equal sign, then we are adding current and keep this structure of current open parenthesis close parenthesis slash 2 dot slash. Then we would like to check the matching value. Like I mentioned here, this is the unique ID. If you would like to retrieve any non-media responses instead of counting the submissions only, you can use again the similar formula, and you can bring text type, integer, decimal, select one, select multiple questions from the parent form, and you can use the similar form with instance. Then in instance we are using again our connection name, then between the curly bracket here this one between this group curly bracket and ID question, we are matching if the child side of the form is equal to parent side of the form. So if this unique code is matching between two forms, then we are going to bring the parent form question ID, such as like name, gender, or age information. So I will explain it in the forms directly. So let's start with the parent form. So for the parent form, we just created a simple form. We have the beneficiary code. It's P beneficiary code. We have name. We have age, gender, and the type of service needed. So there is three kind of questions type here. One is the text questions and integer questions, and also we have select one and select multiple questions. For the beneficiary code, for the text questions or integer questions, you can use any value. But for the gender and the type of service, you need to make sure that these values, XML values, are also matching within the child form. So if we check the child form, here type of service information, child protection, MHPSS, and XML values, here wash XML values, are exactly matching with the parent form. If the child and parent forms XML values such as select one and select multiple is not matching, the dynamic data attachment will return no value. So if you would like to bring these two type of question, you need to make sure these two information is matching in the child form. So for the parent form, this is our basic form. Let's see the child form. For the child form, we have XML external questions, we have code, name, and type of service. So let's delete this one. Normally your form look like this. You will have code, name, type of service, or any questions within your form. So after you created your form, two forms, parents and child form, for the parent form, only thing you need to do is come under the setting, come to the connect project, then here you need to enable the data sharing option. And if you would like to not to share all the questions with other forms, if you would like to select specific questions to share, you can check this box, and from here you can choose which questions answer you are going to share. For example, I'm going to share beneficiary code, name, age, and type of services, but I'm not going to share the gender. And after you have done that, the parent form is completed. You don't need to do anything for the parent form from now on. Let's go back to child form. For the child form, what you need to do is, here you need to add one question here. If you check the questions type, you will see an external XML value here. You click the XML external, and now we added XML external type of question. Now we need to name this collection. You can name it any way you would like to, but I will call it survey. You can call it with any information, distinguish it from any other connections. After you added the survey, you can save your form. After you saved your form, you need to come to form and download your data as XLS and open it. When you open it, you will not see any calculated column unless you have a calculated type of question. If you don't have it, you can add it manually. we are going to write calculate. Then what we are going to do, we will copy our formula here, and we would like to bring the parent name or the name from the parent form. So let's divide the formula into three sections. First one is instance and the connection name. If you remember, here we added an XML connection name. It was survey, and we indicate this name is the connection name. We are going to use survey. Make sure it is exactly matching. Capital letters or small letters also needs to be considered. It is case sensitive, so make sure it is same. Then here you will not touch root or data. We will just modify the curly bracket section, and here a equal sign. For the left side of the equal sign, you will find this information in the parent form. If you go to parent form, here is our beneficiary code. We would like to match the information through this beneficiary code. So if this code inside a group, you also need to mention the group name. Let's say here if there was another group, and let's make it like this, then you also need to mention this, all the groups, like all the three groups. So but we only have one group, so we will mention this group name and the question name. Let's go back to our form. As you can see here, we have the group name and our primary key, which was the beneficiary code, and for the right side it comes from the child form, which is this form, and we would like to match this information with the beneficiary code with our code. So what you need to do is here you just need to get the question name and replace the question name. Here you don't need to consider the grouping, you only need to consider the question name. After that we have this section. This section is which information or which questions answer we would like to bring. So we would like to bring a name from the parent form. It is right here, but also again you need to consider grouping name as well. So what we have done here, we added slash, again group name, the beneficiary code and the P name are in the same group. So we are using the group name again, then we are adding P name. So if you would like to bring also the type of service needed, you need to just copy this one and paste it here. You only need to change this last part. Let's switch back to parent form. We get the name of the question we would like to, then replace it. Now as you can see here, with this calculate will bring the type of service needed, and this one will bring the P name from the parent form. Let's save it and go back to child form again. Now here you need to do few steps again. Come to settings, come to connect project, and here you will add a new connection. I already had it, but I will delete it. Now as we enable the data sharing for the parent form, we can see the parent form here. Now we need to name this connection, but this name needs to come from the child form, from the XML external value, which we named it as survey. So we write it as survey, we click import, then you can choose which questions you would like to import, you click accept. Now our connection is established. What you need to do again, go to form, and now you need to deploy your form. As you can see, our form is deployed without any issue. Now we click open. Now we are going to wait for the yellow indication. Here it says there's a newer version of the form. We just update our form. Now if you check again, you see this one is for the dynamic data connection. First one was the form, second was for the dynamic data connection. Here now if you write the code, it should be like this. As you can see here, I changed the code and the type of needed service and name is changing. This is how you establish a dynamic data connection. Let's say one last thing, but even though this comes from the parent form, it is still editable by the user. So to avoid that, you can do this. Just go to child form again, and here you just need to add here one column, read only. And if you add read only and make these answers true, or the value is true, then save it and go back to child form again, replace our form and deploy it. We will wait for the yellow ribbon again. Here now, as you can see, name and type of service is grayed out. You cannot edit them, you cannot do anything. But if you write the correct code, as you can see, it is filled automatically. So by this way you can avoid any editation or any value changing in these sections.